Comic book properties are hotter than ever, but there was a time when everything they made was mostly terrible. And the thing we're talking about today is very much indicative of the era of comic book movies and television at the time. Birds of Prey, the TV series. It's Dark Angel. It's Daredevil. It's every kind of bad idea from the early 2000s.
It's a lot of transitions of just some sort of invisible helicopter sweeping through an awful CGI city. It's the worst CGI city I've ever seen, I think, on television.
But considering it's 2003 or whatever.
Even then, I mean, just get some stock footage of a helicopter going through a city.
There's quite a bit of stock footage and also recycled stuff from this, from other DC properties, which we will talk about. But before we get into any of that, of course, give this video a like, Mason. I know you're watching.
Please.
You, Mason.
Oh, I'm watching back. Okay, right.
Yeah, that's right. Birds of Prey, by the way, it's getting a new movie.
That's why we're doing this.
Yeah, that's right. And this is kind of an amalgamation of Batman 89, Batman Returns, the animated series, Batman Beyond, The Killing Joke, some of the comic stuff.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, in the comic books, Birds of Prey it's a team put together by Barbara Gordon Oracle initially, and it's sort of a team of usually female superheroes all teaming up for various ends. The movie we're getting soon isn't really that, but this isn't that either. No. It's not like, well, the movie's really that this isn't an accurate take on this, but this TV version isn't. It's
weird and vague. Well, let's do a team breakdown. Why don't we? We both watched the pilot, though we watched different pilots. You watched the unaired pilot and I watched the regular pilot.
But I've also seen the regular pilot.
Yes.
So I'm at Birds of Prey TV series saturation point. Let me tell you, because I saw this when it came out as well. So
okay, so who we've got? We've got Dinah Lance.
Yep. Well, that's I guess Black Canary. But in this version,
I think it's supposed to be her daughter.
She's not very Black Canary-esque.
No, because she has none of the Black Canary powers.
No, her ability is
see the future or something.
Yeah, she's got the most vague psychic powers imaginable. And it's also, if you watch the series as a whole, you discover that clearly what the writers are doing are going, we've written ourselves into a hole here, just give her a new power.
Yeah, right.
So later in the series, she just develops telekinesis, I think, and she's got, but in this one, she can, her ability is basically touch someone and she gets a sort of a psychic vision of some sort.
Oh my God, she's Bruce Willis in the Bruce Willis trilogy.
Yeah, exactly. She may as well not have it, because in a lot of cases, it's like they're surrounded by, men wielding guns with threatening expressions, and she touches one of them and goes, this is a trap. Yeah, we know it's a trap. It's always a trap.
I would argue that that it's somewhat useful for reading a person like on the street. There is a moment in the pilot where Oracle's like, what are we going to do with her? What could she do for this team? See the future. Yeah. Actually. That's quite good.
She's demonstrably got an amazing power. Although she doesn't see the future initially in the pilot, where she's on the bus to Gotham City and she meets
Jesse Pinkman.
She meets a younger Jesse Pinkman.
Yes,
Aaron Paul.
Right.
I was
The Price is Right's own Aaron Paul. Have you seen that?
No.
He was once on The Price is Right.
Oh, pre-fame.
Pre-fame.
Did he win a lot of money?
I think the price was right in the end. Yeah.
He gets it all, doesn't he?
He does.
That son of a bitch.
And he's on Westworld.
Yeah, right.
Let us be on Westworld.
Right.
I'll put on a cowboy hat.
I'll put on a
I won't look good, but I'll do it.
I'll put on a set of chaps. No one wants that.
So, of course, also we have Huntress.
Yes.
There's various versions of this. The CW version isn't the daughter of Batman and Catwoman. No, like
so this is one of these multiversal problems. Like in her original appearances on Earth 2, which is a parallel universe version of Earth, she is the daughter of Batman and Selena Kyle, Catwoman.
Yes.
And then later versions, she's just Helena Bertinelli. She's the daughter of a crime boss. That's the continuity in the comic books at the time.
Yes.
So of course in this version, she's the old continuity version. She's the daughter of Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle.
She's the daughter of two non-superpowered characters who has cat abilities. Maybe.
Yeah, she's got Matrix abilities.
Yes.
At one point later in the series, she just does some fight choreography straight out of the Matrix.
Oh my goodness.
Some spinning around in the air situations. You know what? She's also described in this, because in the show there's a narration from Alfred Pennyworth at the start and right at the end, and he's like, oh, let me tell you a story about the greatest heroes of Gotham. Not Batman, not the most interesting character, but some lesser known characters. He describes her as half metahuman. You either are or you're not.
Sure, yeah.
That's how this works. But also that suggests that Catwoman's metahuman.
Well, I guess because it's sort of the Batman Returns version, and she sort of has vague cat powers in that.
I mean, she did survive like an exploding generator at the end of Batman Returns.
Shot many times.
Off a
roof.
Kissed the penguin with a taser in her mouth.
No, that was Max Shrek.
Oh, it was too. Yeah.
Penguin would have bitten her nose off.
That's true. It's very true, yes.
Yeah. We also have Barbara Gordon as Oracle. Pretty accurate.
For the most part, yeah.
Lives in the clock tower. shot by the Joker.
No, you're thinking of the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I am too, that's right. Harley Quinn, it's revealed as a psychologist.
Mia Sara, I think, but...
Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller, exactly.
He's from Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And I've also written here, Alfred is in it.
He sure is.
What do you think about the Alfred in this? He's not my favourite.
He's not my favourite, yeah, exactly.
He voiced the Emperor for a lot of the Clone Wars. He's passed away now.
I see.
Ian Abercrombie, I believe his name is.
Well, then I retract some of the terrible things I'm going to say about him. I think everybody in this, especially in the pilot, is hamstrung just by not great writing and or dialogue.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the fact that in most of this, they're just in bad sets.
There's a lot of that, yeah.
What I also like about this show, you know, even though it's kind of clunky and not particularly great, it does kind of set up, well, this ain't your grandpappy superhero stuff. This is going to be modern and mature. But by episode 4, it's like, we got to look after this baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no.
That's the episode we are going to specifically talk about today, but I just want to mention how the pilot wraps up, and that is they all have a mind fight in each other's minds.
They do.
Which is a power that
so
one or some of them have.
Yeah, so basically there's 4 guys, something real estate.
It's free real estate.
3 of them die of apparent suicides, and they're like, well, we should go and help this 4th guy.
Yeah.
And then it turns out he's the bad guy after all.
That's
kind of
right.
thing. He can get in their minds, but then Dinah Lance can get into his mind.
Because of her Black Canary powers.
Exactly, that's right.
Yeah. She had the real Black Canary powers. She could like liquefy his brain, just scream into his ear.
Exactly, that's right. But what happens at the end of this episode is the established team, Huntress and Oracle, they're having a chat afterwards, and they're like, well, get this new girl on the team. And then they're like, boy, this was really quite a mundane adventure. It wasn't like the amazing adventures we normally go on. We'll maybe show one of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're like, normally the whole city's at stake and everything's blowing up. Maybe show us that then. On side note, they mentioned this in the pilot, I think. It's sort of lampshaded of like, why don't you wear a mask? It's important if you're a crime fighter to wear a mask.
Yeah.
But all the Huntress does is when she's in superhero mode, she sort of feathers her hair up a bit.
There's a cop that keeps meeting up with her and it's like, who is this mysterious woman?
Not just a cop, it's Shamar Moore from Criminal Minds.
You're right, you're absolutely right. I apologize.
And whatever Marine show he's in now, I don't know what it is.
They also changed her costume for the better because the pilot costume it's weird and
flouncy.
I don't know what it is, but then they're just like leather jacket. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Whatever. So the episode that you're referring to though is 3 birds and a baby. Love it. So she rescues a baby at the start of episode 4, and she turns to the mother and she's like, "Hey, I rescued your baby," but the mother's been stabbed. But her reaction is kind of like, "Wah wah wah."
Yeah,
like
right.
it's not like this is horrible. This is a tragedy.
Yeah.
This is a supervillain or superhero origin.
It was
for
more
this
like,
baby.
I don't know how I'm going to get through this 42 minutes.
So it turns out that Harley Quinn has manufactured this baby because she couldn't have a baby with the Joker. So she's breeding clone assassins that only live for like 3 days. They're like pop-up assassins.
Yeah,
I guess it'd be the best
yeah.
way to describe them. They've got a nano mesh in them or something.
Yeah,
which
right.
You can trigger it with a GPS to make them
They've got
fight. Have you noticed in these episodes, and maybe it's just the version that we've got, it says action in the corner of all the episodes?
I did not
It
notice
just says
that.
action.
I don't know where you found your copies of this. I assume it all
Legitimate sources,
You
Mason.
purchased them from Blockbuster Video,
You know
as
I
we
did,
always
yeah.
do. Yeah. No, I didn't notice that, but I did notice in the opening action sequence, the Huntress is really swinging that baby around. Like, you were not rescuing nothing, lady. You were rescuing baby soup with that. Rest its head. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Madness.
Did you buy the way the baby matured into a man who looks like he's in NSYNC very quickly? You know
Well,
what I
the
mean?
nanomesh provides a certain amount of gel to the hair.
Oh, okay,
It
so how that
secretes
works.
gel out of the skull, so the hair is perfectly early 2000s.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Oh, there was actually a moment in this where they go to find out what's going on with the baby, and it turns out that it's a trap. How do you feel about any of the action in this? Because there is some like kung fuing about.
It's not, yeah.
I don't think it's the worst I've ever seen. I think it's just what they did at the time.
It's the best they could do.
Yes.
Given the time and the budget, 6 days and 20 grand, what are they going to come up with? You know?
Exactly, yeah. So the idea behind this story is, do you want to blow-by-blow recap? Not really. The baby gets older,
Yeah.
and then when he turns into an NSYNC.
They trigger a thing via
thing.
some sort of ancient 2002
That's right.
app
And he
that turns him into a violent soldier, yeah.
But then he decides to be good, and then he very quickly turns into an old guy and dies or whatever.
Which makes me wonder, that the question I was left with is, how do they dispose of that body? Do they just leave it in the clock tower?
Does he disintegrate really quickly?
No, he doesn't. I don't think he
I
does.
think it's Gotham. You just throw him off a roof.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
There's no like record of this guy.
No, that's true.
It
yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah. Have you noticed that most TV shows involving Batman are just about how Batman's left? They're all about how Batman's a band. Given that Batman's main characteristic is that he has no superpowers, but he keeps at it because he is just so incredibly tenacious.
He'll never leave.
Birds of Prey and bloody...
Whatever CW stuff.
Whatever Batwoman, it's all just like, I've given up. I've given up and I'm gone and it's up to somebody else.
Yeah, it's a licensing thing, right?
Oh, for sure. But that's the thing, because, Supergirl and, the Crisis on Infinite Earths, which we just had, brought in Superman.
And they brought in some Batman. Like, they brought in a Kevin Conroy Batman.
Yeah, they brought in an alternate universe version. But like...
And Gotham. There was a Batman at the end of Gotham.
Like, if you're afraid of bringing in an iconic character and kind of ruining him, they did it really well, I think, with Supergirl, with a guy who'd never heard of, Tyler Hoechlin.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's very charming and very Superman.
Getting his own series.
The very idea that they couldn't do with Batman is odd. So
I think it's a licensing
money
thing.
thing,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. We also forgot to mention that in the pilot episode, you see the Joker voiced by Mark Hamill and Batman in their final kind of showdown and battle.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, this is interesting-ish. Yes. And then it's kind of, that's the extent of what you get.
That's not the story Alfred's going to tell, all right, as we've previously established.
And of course, there's that scene where Harley Quinn's like, I can't comprehend it. We had the best nanomesh, and what turned this baby around?
And they're like, maybe, the mercenary she's hired, who was soundly defeated, is like, well, it might have been the power of love and friendship. And she's like, I don't understand the power of love and friendship. And then she's like, well, the only possible solution now is... And then she, like, vaguely kills the guy. Like, she vaguely slices his throat. I reckon, as a paid mercenary, if I'd failed, I'd probably just send an email. I'd be like, didn't happen. You can keep the other half of the money. I'm just going to leave. You'll never see me again. I'm leaving this hellhole.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because he's just sitting there with his back to her, and he goes, we didn't do it. I'm just going to sit in this chair and let you walk behind me.
What do you think about that, you murderous lunatic? Oh, I'm dead.
So I just want to talk about some connections that we mentioned.
Yep.
So Dinah was originally intended to be a revision of the comic book character Black Canary, but there was outcry from comic book fans, which means the character was retooled as Canary's daughter. So that's confirmed, that idea.
Right.
Yeah. The Batgirl suit that we see worn, that's a repaint of the one that Alicia Silverstone wears.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah. The belt is very similar to the Clooney belt as well.
So they got the Clooney belt.
They got the Clooney belt.
That means Alicia Silverstone and Clooney, same waist.
Not surprising.
Not surprising.
Take that however you want.
The suit is intentionally Michelle Pfeiffer-ish for Catwoman. There's a shot of the Arkham Asylum plaque, and that is just lifted directly from Batman Forever. They just took that shot out entirely.
Okay, right.
We mentioned Mark Hamill being the Joker. Batman's suit was recycled from Batman and Robin. They changed the color of the suit, adding the yellow chest emblem, and the cowl was from Batman Forever. So it's a mixture of those two.
Mishmash, okay.
Because they do actually look quite good, those suits. And
I think so.
I guess that makes sense because they're movie quality suits.
Yeah.
We also mentioned how this was cancelled in January of 2003. 11 episodes aired, and then the producers allowed them to film the final 2 episodes for some reason.
Isn't that nice?
I don't understand that. That's pretty uncommon, because Swamp Thing was recently cancelled, and they just went, you get 10, you're done.
Yeah, right.
And that was it, yeah.
That's wild.
I just realised also we've been saying 2003 during this, and it ended in 2003, but it started in 2002.
I said
I'm
2002.
mentioning this here because,
Okay.
Because people care about this show.
The one thing that I do remember about the final episode is
You've really seen all of these.
I've really seen all of
There
these.
was nothing else, though, was there, at the time?
No, exactly. That's right. And anyway, the point is, right at the end, I believe Alfred picks up a telephone and he's like, "Oh, Master Wayne, they're doing very well. Let's be very proud of them," kind of thing.
Great.
So suggests that Bruce Wayne is still out there. To which I say, maybe come back to Gotham, Bruce.
Yeah.
They really messed up this whole baby thing, is all I'm
They
saying.
really did. I also want to mention, and this is definitely worth bringing up because we get people shouting at us. So, this is the subsection of the video called Hey, Shut Up, we mentioned it. Ashley Scott reprised her role as Helena Kyle in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
That is true.
And Rachel Scarston, who plays Dinah Lance, also stars in Batwoman as the character's sister.
That's right.
So, because she was 16 at the time when they filmed this show.
Oh.
So, yeah, there you go. Sucks. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I know it's all
when
the
you know,
time.
you know.
When you know, you know. I guess I can see what they're doing,
Yeah.
and it's as good as it could have been. So I guess there's that element of it.
Look, honestly, disagree. I think if the production values were a little bit better.
This is what TV was, though.
I guess that's probably true, yeah.
Name a better thing from 2002. Dark Angel, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, no, you probably...
The Pretender? I quite like The Pretender.
All I'm saying is put a real city in there. Aerial footage of New York.
But then you need the clock tower, and you zoom in on the clock tower so you know that they're in the clock tower.
That's a good
You need
point,
to know that they're in the clock tower.
That's true.
Anyways, this has been Caravan of Garbage. We do this every week. You got something you want us to talk about, watch, whatever, we'll do it.
Was there a better thing that came out in 2002? We'll watch it.
Is there a good superhero TV show from 2002? Yeah. But of course, it can be a video game, it can be a movie, it can be a TV show, it can be a comic. We love looking at stuff, don't we, Mason?
Oh my God, we love looking at stuff.
And here's a hint towards next week's episode. All right, everybody. There's also videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday if you want to subscribe. I'm at Mr. Sunday Movies on Twitter.
Oh, I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter.
We love you, every one of you.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Except that one of you. You know who you are and you know what you did.
Goodbye.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.